Welcome to Enlightenment Unknown, Life of a Spiritual Nomad. My name is Wes Coons, and welcome to the show. Hey, I tell you what, we are rolling into summer right now here at beautiful Virginia Beach, my world headquarters. And I want to say welcome and thank you for listening to the show. I don't know what's going on in Vietnam, but you guys are killing it. You guys are rocketing to the top of the listener list. I just want to say thank you. Everybody on the show has been so good to me, and today is going to be such a fun episode. I was talking to a friend of mine, and she sent me a quote from the movie from Goodbye, Christopher Robinson. That is the movie they made about Winnie the Pooh, and how one man's love for his son not only changed a generation, but it changed the world. I mean, who hasn't heard of Winnie the Pooh? I remember when I was a kid, the teachers telling me all the time, your imagination's not going to do you any good. You need to pay attention. Stop daydreaming. Well, I like to daydream. And isn't it interesting when you do healing work on somebody, if you sit there and focus and I'm just going to be, oh, I'm really paying attention, that shuts you down. It's when you go into that daydream energy that you open up to this open, clear, and present channel so the Holy Sacred Spirit, so Spirit, or whatever you want to call it, flows through you, and you become this conduit for Jesus to flow through me, to heal me, and to heal you, whether you're in front of me or on the other side of the world. Isn't it interesting that when we let go, everything changes? And the story of Winnie the Pooh is a father loved his son so much that they wrote a silly, simple little book that changed the world. I seen something the other day that said, how much did they pay you to give up on your dreams? And that hit me like a ton of bricks. You know, what they were talking about is how much money did that job pay you to give up on yourself, to go into corporate America or follow the job that you're supposed to do or that you were told to do, and you gave up on everything that you had been planning, everything that you dreamed about. How much did they pay you to give up on your fucking self? And see, they didn't pay me anything. I just went because I thought I wanted to be in real estate. And honestly, I did, but I didn't like it. It wasn't for me. The guilt and shame of I'm supposed to be in this family business kept me there. Then I started making some money. And you know what? I guess that's when I bought into the program of this is what I'm going to do. But I don't know about you. However, I've struggled trying to figure out what I wanted to do in my life. So being 56 years old, trying to figure out what do you want to do in your life? Maybe I might want to figure that out sooner than later. But I tell you what, when I had my spiritual awakening and I figured out that I might have a little gift that turned out to be a really, really big gift. And I'm not saying that to brag. I'm just saying that to say, Jesus, I am grateful for the opportunity that you have given me, the opportunities that you continue to give me. And one of the things is I've learned over time is to pay attention to what's going on around me. Even if I'm stepping in it, right? Even if I'm not doing exactly what I'm supposed to do, maybe I'm blowing somebody off, maybe I'm getting caught up in my head thinking I'm not good enough. I don't know if you have that problem, but I have that a little bit. So I figure I might as well be honest with you because you see these people on TV and the radio and stuff that look like they have this perfect life. That's fucking bullshit. That's bullshit. They don't have a perfect life. Everybody has something. And when you let that something get a hold of you a little bit more than you should, and that's what I'm talking about. And so I pay attention when things show up in front of me, no matter what they are, because there's a blessing, there's a stepping stone, there's a lesson, there's something there because I like to be a different person at 3 o'clock today than I was at 9 o'clock this morning. That's the level that I like to heal at. I like to go fast. I like to shift. And when I make a mistake, I'm not going to do it a second time, or at least I try not to. I don't know about you guys, but I tell you what, when I started thinking about the movie Goodbye, Christopher Robin, when I watched that, I wasn't on a healing journey. And the guy's son goes to World War I, right? And he's a soldier, and he's over there, and he's watching all these people idolize Winnie the Pooh. And as a kid does, the whole dad wrote a book thing seems silly. It's funny, I wrote a book, a children's series that starts with What Color's Your Dragon? And my daughter Sydney is the lead character. The red dragon, Tessa, is Andrea's daughter. She's a lead character in that. All the animals are my animals, and she thinks it's silly. I mean, she's a kid. It's no big deal. I don't know if she's read it or not. However, a lot of people have. And it's fun watching people send me pictures of them reading a book that I wrote because I never really thought I'd write a book, right? So that is props to Andrea for pushing me to do something that I never thought I would do, that I never thought I could do. And I talked to her actually this week, and she told me to tell everybody on the show hello. She's having a wonderful time doing her stuff, and she's trying to buy a house and do some other things right now. So she's having a full plate, and I wanted to make sure that you got the message from Andrea that she said hello, because if it wasn't for her, we wouldn't be doing this right now. So what is it? What's that thing that if you did would change everything? I mean, this guy wrote a children's book and changed the world and became wealthy doing it. He became wealthy when he connected with his son and made this make-believe life, and they had all these adventures. The money, I don't think money's wealth. I don't. I think money it's a means to an end or whatever you want to call it. But the real wealth comes from connecting with your child, connecting with that person, connecting with your significant other at such a deep level that when I look across the room and see my person, nothing else matters. The world stops. Now, I think that's wealth. So what is the one thing that if you picked up, the one thing that you changed, the one thing that you shifted would change everything for you? Everything. Is it that negative self-talk? Is it setting boundaries? Is it taking a step back from those toxic people in your life? And sometimes those toxic people are family members. Is it sitting there saying, hey, I would like a glass of iced tea, please? Because the old version of you wouldn't ask for a glass of iced tea. Because the old version of me, 5 years ago, if I was at your house having dinner, I would not ask for something to drink with dinner. If you offered, I would probably say, oh, don't put yourself out. It's not putting anybody out. They invited me over for dinner, and now I understand that I can take up space in that person's home and ask for something that I desire. Yes, I would love a glass of sweet tea. You don't have sweet tea, water will be fine. That statement there was so hard for me to learn. So I don't know if you relate to that or not. Maybe I'm just extra special. However, that's where I was. So I figure if I share my story and I talk about where I was and where I am now, if I can do it, you can do it. Because at the end of the day, you're probably more gifted than me. You're probably more powerful than me. You're probably this beacon of light that is so bright when you get out of your way a little bit, it's going to change the world. So what's the one thing you can do today to change the world? I bet there's something. Somebody told me the other day, Wes, I'm waiting on a miracle. I'm waiting on this miracle to show up, and I don't know how to make it show up. And I told her, I said, I don't know how to make miracles show up, but when I'm a miracle for somebody else, when I see somebody else that I can help, especially, hear this, especially when it doesn't benefit me, that's a miracle. So when I'm a miracle for somebody else with a kind word, an extra tip at the dinner table at the restaurant, buying a total stranger new tires for her car because she's a single mother and can't afford tires to get back and forth to work, that's a miracle. Telling somebody that they're important, that's a miracle for the person that needed to hear that today. Does that make sense? So what's the miracle that you're going to bring to the table today and then tomorrow and the next day? And because sooner or later, your miracle is going to show up. But one of the things I had to learn, and I want you to hear this, is I had to look for my miracle. Because in Wes's eyes, that miracle is going to be riding down the street in a golden chariot with white horses and a bell ringing saying, hey, look, you broken motherfucker. Hey, look, here's your miracle. It doesn't work that way. And I'm not broken anymore. I'm healing. I have a healing to do. And so do you. If you're listening to this show, you are on a spiritual journey that you might not even comprehend, and good for you. So pay attention, because that miracle probably is not going to be that horse. It could be, hey, Wes, come to this function, and all of a sudden I meet somebody at the function that connects me to the miracle of meeting somebody who can actually give me the job I'm looking for. You have to be present in your life. You have to be active in your life. You have to step out of your comfort zone, open your ears, open your heart, and say, I am present, I am here, and I am open to receive the gifts, the blessings, the love, and everything that I've been asking for. Because when we go to God, we go to Jesus and say, hey, man, hey, brother, can you forgive me? Yeah, Wes, I'll forgive you. You're forgiven. Boom. Because we're already forgiven by the time we say it, because our words are so slow. In that divine timing, it's instantaneous. So the second I think it, he's already said you're forgiven. But you know what? Nobody told me that I had to open my heart and receive the forgiveness. Who knew? So I'm going through life. Hey, God, can you forgive me from that thing that I did? Hey, God, can you forgive me for that thing that I did? Hey, God, can you forgive me for that thing? He's up there saying, dude, move it along, right? So what I want you to do, what I'm saying is open your heart, open your ears, open your eyes, and say, I am worthy. I am open. I'm a clear and present channel to the Lord. I'm a clear and present channel to the universe. I'm a clear and present channel to whatever you want it to be, because I can appreciate you might not want to say God. You may not want to say Jesus. You may not want to say those things. I say it because I've seen it. I've met them. I've done that work. I've been there. If you listen to the podcast, season 1, episode 6, it's the first time Jesus let me come see him. I gotta be honest, that was a fucked up day. I'm the worst ordained minister on the planet. And you know what he said when he looked at me? When I showed up and I was at his feet as he's being crucified, he looked up at me and he said, I love you. I still don't comprehend how he could have said that, because I hated him with a passion. I was so angry. I'm like, my life wouldn't be this if you were real. And the reality is, he's there to love us through it, not pull me out of the bedroom, not pull me out of the burning house, not pull me out of these things where I was at. He was there weeping, watching those things happen, supporting me, loving me through everything. See, we don't even realize that we're being loved through everything that you're going through right now, because you're not alone. You're not broken. You're not discarded. You're not loved. That's the bullshit story that we believe that was put on us when we were children. Then we adopted it as we got older. And the reality is, the crazy thing is the key to the cage is in your fucking pocket. Open the pocket. Reach into your pocket, put the key in the hole, take the cage off, and throw it in the trash. I've done that 5 or 6 times in the last month, where I'm in this story that's not real, and I just close my eyes and I reach up like I'm sticking a key in a lock, and I visualize the lock over my head, and I take it off and I shatter it on the ground. That is not real. That is the enemy talking to us. That is the enemy watching us, laughing at us, and pushing us. So I had a friend send me this message today. There's this guy, I forget his name, but he's a pretty big spiritual scholar. And he's basically saying that the demons aren't real. There's demons out there. So if you looked at my story, going through the haunted house and all that, that's the first 2 seasons, right? So if you look at that, what this gentleman is saying is none of that was real. I manifested it because of my belief in demons. And she asked me, she said, how do you feel about this? How do you relate to what he's saying? And I told her, I said, I got to be honest. I never really realized or never really thought that demons were real. I didn't think God was real. I didn't think the devil was real. I didn't think archangels were real. I didn't think any of that was real. So I don't know how I could have manifested this darkness in my life thinking about demons when I never really, got to be honest, I've never thought about demons. So I don't know, that one's a little baffling because I like a lot of the things that he says, but what I think happened is this, right? I think God let the devil do that to me. And God is letting, if you're suffering right now, see, we're not here to suffer, we're here to struggle, right? So if you take a butterfly and you cut the cocoon open as the butterfly is hatching, the butterfly is going to die. It needs to struggle to get out of the cocoon, to put blood into its wings, to build strength and fly. If you open it, the butterfly is going to die. But we're not here to suffer. And I was really good. Hear this, universe. Hear this, Lord. In the past, I suffered. I don't suffer anymore. I struggle today. Struggling to me is I'm growing. I'm looking at myself. I'm holding myself accountable. I'm taking responsibility for my actions, even when I don't want to. Because at the end of the day, everything I step in, I have accountability to. So if you're suffering right now and your life fucking sucks, check this out. People don't rob empty houses. People rob houses that are full of gold. So if you're being tormented, if your life is not where you want it to be right now, if you are miserable, that's because you are so important, you are so gifted, you are so beautiful, you are so loved, you are so everything that the darkness is fucking with you because they don't want you to step into who you are, right? Somebody messaged me the other day, and I have people message me all the time asking questions and stuff, and I'm happy to do that. And she asked me, why do you think you went through what you went through. I said, because I needed a hard shocker. I needed a hard lesson, right? If the burning bush said, "Hey, Wes, dude, hey, it's me, Jesus. What's up, brother?" I'd been like, I'm going to put out the fire. I'm going to cut that fucking bush down, put a new plant in tomorrow, and keep going. That's who I was. I needed to struggle. I needed to suffer. I needed to have my rear end wore out for me to become humble enough, broken enough, and hit my bottom so I can look up and see the light. That's why when people are in recovery, they don't typically get clean. They don't typically get sober until they hit a bottom. I hit my bottom. As I'm laying there and I'm holding a pistol in my hand, thinking about how do I pull this trigger and go home and not go to hell and not destroy my kids, that's bottom for me. So if you are struggling and you are suffering and you're miserable, good for you. Because the reality is there's something else that you can do. You can ask, you can say one of my favorite 4-letter words, and that's help. When you say that word, the energy of the room changes. Everything changes. I need help. And then you go look for the help, right? Don't go to your toxic ass friends who don't give a shit about you, who are happy to be miserable and say, "Hey, I need help." They may mean well for a second, but that's not where you go. You go get help. And don't stop asking until you get it. And then open your heart to receive it. And then look at, what can I do today to change something? How can I talk to myself differently today? How can I become the person that I want to become? And that's by saying, I need help. See, I don't think you're suffering because you're weak, because you're ugly, because you're a drug addict, an alcoholic, that you've been sexually abused. I don't think that's the case. You know what? That is a part of your story. That is a sentence or a paragraph in the back of Julia, the back of Cindy, the back of the book of Wes. It is a sentence of something that you have gone through and experienced, and the reality is you can rewrite your book. Why don't you start rewriting your book that I am beautiful, I am gifted, I am loved. I'm going to write a book, and maybe it doesn't get published. Maybe you self-publish like I do. I don't know. I don't even know how many of mine have sold. It's a good book. It checked a box at such a deep level for me that it changed everything. You know, they call that, what is it called? The butterfly effect. When that ripple, that change goes across the universe of that person chose themselves, that person wrote that book, that person says, I love you, that person says, help, that person says, forgive me, that person says, I do, and that light sparks, that ripple effect changes the world. See, the darkness doesn't want you to change the world. The darkness wants you to stay in addiction. The darkness wants you to stay in this horrible relationship. This darkness wants you to be this broken fucking person, that you're not here to be this broken person. See, probably nobody told you it's okay to change gears. It's okay to sit there and do something different. I've got a friend of mine, and I'm not going to say her name, but she has been on the show, that has gone through some horrible stuff in her life. I mean, this girl, fuck, man. I tell you what, it's been a hard road. And she is getting her own apartment right now. She is taking classes. She's getting ready to graduate college. She's working her fucking ass off, and she is changing who she is, and she is being the mom she wants to be, being present in her children's life. And she is changing so many things. I am so humbled that I get to be her fucking friend. That she asks me for advice. I'm like, wow. Thank you. Because that is important to me. That somebody of this caliber wants to ask me for advice. Watching her do the things that she does, going to the gym, being with her kids, working her ass off, falling asleep, doing her studies at 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, working hard, getting her this apartment. I've never worked that hard. I am humbled by the level of commitment and passion and desire to become watching this woman grow. I mean, it's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my life. I don't feel worthy sometimes to be around her because she is such a bright and shining star. And I don't want to put guilt and shame in my life, but when I look at her, I'm like, God, look at you. I mean, it is absolutely beautiful. So don't tell yourself you can't because you've had hard things happen in your life. Because I've seen people that they have come out of the worst places that you've ever seen and change and grow and learn to love themselves and do things and be things and they're this beacon of light. And I know you can too. So when that person sent me when that person sent me when that person sent me that statement from Goodbye, Christopher Robin, that just hit me so deeply. Of course, the military aspect of that kicked in because here this kid comes back from World War I. And if you've ever done any history if you've ever looked at the history, that war was messed up, man. The things that those men and the women that were there volunteering and all the people had to go through was a nightmare. I mean, it was horrible. And as I've been going through my journey, I've had these military things pop up in different times of my life for me to heal. And as of yesterday, I was doing this little ceremony with somebody, and these things from combat showed up for me. And I'm like, wow, I really thought I healed that. And the reality is when I was in the first Gulf War, I didn't want to come home. I didn't understand when they said, hey, Coons, you're going home. You're supposed to be happy about that. You're supposed to be joyful. You're like, oh, wow, I'm going to go home and see my family. At the time, the girl I was seeing married somebody else. And she and I are friends. We're friends on Facebook. She just celebrated, dude, like her 35th wedding anniversary or something. I am so excited for her. We were kids. I am not upset about that. She did me a favor. Because when she made the decision that was best for her, and that was for her to marry somebody else, it was best for all involved. It then handed me my plate of bullshit that I needed to heal. I just didn't understand it at the time. It took me a while to get there. But I didn't want to come home. The honest answer is it's easier dying than living. And I had to go home and fucking live. And I'm 56 now. I got a lot of life left. I don't know about you, but I can get caught up in my head and get in this little depression or whatever and feel like I'm on this island and lost. The reality is we own the universe. And so these days when I feel that way, I look at the bright things in my life, even if it's teeny, teeny, tiny, and say, yeah, I own that. Yeah, I own that. It may be I walked around the block today. That could be the best thing that happened to me today is I walked around the block. Been there, done that one. As I'm shedding all this stuff that I'm not good enough, I can't do this, I can't do that, I can't do this, I can't do that. God, the lies that I believed my whole life were ridiculous. They're totally ridiculous. So what lies are you listening to? What lies did you say, I'm going to believe that, I'm going to adopt that, and that's who I'm going to be? Because what I think is, I think you're beautiful. I think you're gifted. I think you're loved. I think you're amazing. I think that you are a beacon of light that is so bright, all you have to do is turn the light switch on and allow yourself to receive the blessings that you've asked for, the gifts that you've asked for, the forgiveness that you've asked for. Because I bet there is an opportunity in your life. It might not be directly in front of you. It might be to the side. It might be when you get out of the house and take a walk around the block and you meet somebody else that's going for a walk and you two walk and become friends, and that person knows somebody that has something for you. That's where the blessings come from. So my name is Wes Coons, and I want to say thank you for allowing me to guide you through this journey. Thank you for listening to the show. If you got something out of this, or you have a friend that you think might get something out of this, say, hey, man, or hey, girl, why don't you listen to this show? Somebody said to me, so Wes, I don't like to listen to podcasts. I said, I don't either. And I do a fucking podcast. But what I do know is this, my show makes me feel better, and I hope it helps you. Clearly, you're getting something out of it because we're getting thousands of listeners, and I just want you to know, if you haven't been told today, I love you. It doesn't mean I desire you, but what it does mean is the light in me recognizes the light in you, and you are perfect just the way you are. You can find me on vbhealer.com, as in Virginia Beach Healer, Instagram, VBHealer. Reach out, ask a question, say hi, and we will see you soon.